On October 7, 1913, Henry Ford rigged up a rope to get a Model T across the floor of his assembly plant. It was revolutionary and created the first assembly line. Now, Ford's vision was to manufacture a car that would appeal to the masses and save money and time. And it did just that. Instead of 12 hours, it now took 90 minutes in manpower, and it lowered the price from $850 for a car to $260. Now we welcome Dr. Jose Lopez from Seton Hall University, and we also are joined by Didi Benke and Jackie Guzda. And don't we wish that the cars were still $260? How about it?
Just have to crank the front of us.
That would still be so nice. But what a revolutionary little idea that he had. And as a scientist, I'm sure that you could appreciate all that, Dr. Lopez.
I mean, it was definitely the engineering marvel of the 20th century that really made other production, mass production, possible. If it wasn't for Henry Ford's idea of this assembly line where you put the components together and you can mass produce something, I mean, cars would still not be readily available. It'd take days. I mean, look at now. I mean, cars have 10 miles worth of cabling. Imagine that was done by hand. Yeah. I
mean, it was just amazing just to go through the manpower hours, and just that within 1 year, the price of the cars went down from $850 to $250. I mean, it was just amazing just to read some of that. And so they are celebrating their 100th anniversary. Also celebrating, of course, are some of the Nobel Peace Prize winners. Let's talk about one of the front runners was, of course, Malala. The little Pakistani activist who was shot by the Taliban. And many people thought that she was going to win the Nobel Peace Prize, but she didn't. And let's just weigh in on a little bit on that subject. Didi?
Well, I think in a way she did win, because that's who everyone's talking about. Nobody even knows who won, really. Right. I mean, everybody's thinking about her and talking about her. You know, she has this angelic face. She's so young. I mean, she's pushing, something that would be very difficult for her and what she went through. So, good for her. And I think she is a winner, even though she didn't get the prize.
I think she's an amazing young woman. I'm a little frightened for her, though. I was at the 92nd Street Y while she was talking the other night,
wow.
But I could not believe the security there. There were police everywhere, undercover. One of the roads were blocked off. They had the dogs out. She's only a kid, and so I think they have to take very good care of her.
Well, if she gets killed, you know what will happen. It will just be an outburst.
Yeah.
It will be so terrible. So
but some people said that in terms of what the organization that won, that's the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, that they should have won because they had spent something like 5,000 hours, to try and do this. Talk to us a little bit about what this organization does, Dr. Lopez.
They try to prevent, make the public aware of what chemical weapons do. And we know this has been a huge, huge problem with Syria. That the Syrian government did. We were saying supposedly a few weeks ago, but did use chemical warfare against the rebels that are fighting against them. So this was the Swiss, looking and around the world and realizing that this was a huge topic right now. That in the World War I was the chemical war. And now, 100 years later, we're still using chemical warfare. So to really stop this. So I think it was a good move in a sense. Malia's 16 years old. She is beyond an adult at this point. But I think this was a topic that
she won the hearts of everyone. They won the prize. So it's good for both.
And she was all over. She was meeting with President Obama and his family this weekend, as well as she even was on the Daily Show with Jon Stewart. I don't know if anybody saw that, but it was just amazing. But and we will say, congratulations to the Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. They are located in The Hague, and they will take home and claim the $1.25 million prize, and rightfully so. Let's also talk about the three Americans who were also given the Nobel Peace Prize for a new way to do chemistry online. And I'm just going to pretend like I don't know anything about that and just say, Dr. Lopez, take it away.
Well, the three folks who got the medal, who got the award this year, not for peace, but for chemistry.
I'm sorry, for chemistry.
There's physics, there's chemistry, and there's physiology or medicine. And the ones for chemistry, really it's not very obvious, but doing chemistry is kind of hard. And what these guys did in the 1960s and early 70s is they saw these humongous devices that were usually in the basement of universities called the computer at the time. And they started to do modeling and started to say, okay, we can do these very complicated chemical reactions, put in quantum mechanics, which was a field that was still relatively new, and into computers. And now, I mean, it's still, believe it or not, a lot of people don't accept computational chemistry, but it was well deserved. I mean, I thought Professor Karpel from Harvard had gotten it already. I was really surprised he hadn't.
Oh, me too. I was so surprised. I couldn't even believe it. I was shocked. Well, I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I felt so left out. I don't even know what you're talking about. So.
But they said that the phone calls that they received when the committee actually called them, woke them up in the middle of the night, and they were like, "I won the prize!" So
that's so important. And in our country, of course, science and math. I mean, a lot of times gets put on a back burner. So it's kind of nice to hear that happened too.
I thought the most interesting one was this year was the physics one, because everyone had been saying that Peter Higgs from England was going to win it. And Professor Higgs, I mean, we know last year, July 4th, 2012, that the Higgs boson was discovered. And this was the missing piece, the missing element, if you will, in the puzzle that we call the Standard Model that predicted what gave everything mass. And he had predicted it in the 1960s, and of course you can make a prediction, but if you're not finding it anywhere in the world, no one's going to believe you. But it was found by CERN in Switzerland. So there was a debate. Everyone knew he was going to get it at some point, but who was going to get it with him? So a lot of people thought it was going to be CERN, but it ended up being, since only 3 people can really get it, he ended up being just another person, not the organization.
And I have to say, I'm just so happy that you're here to explain this as well.
You don't teach this stuff, do you?
Yes, we do something on it. Yeah.
No, we're all very happy.
We all learned something today. Thank you, Professor.
But that is just amazing just to see, and it's the highest prize, I think, in the world, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Well, I mean, just such an incredible thing to see all the winners that come forward this week. So
Big accomplishment for sure.
I mean,
worldwide.
it brings attention to very important
I'm kind
topics.
of more for Henry
everything.
Ford, though. I'm sorry. I'm still, and back to the Ford story. Congratulations.
Well,
Ford.
Twitter was also making headlines as we all know
Oh,
this
they
week.
should, yeah, always.
And they have something new called the event Parrot. If we want to talk about that a little bit, and just that you can now get more news more instantaneously. I didn't think we could get news any faster, but we were just talking before the show about this this enormous cyclone that was going to be hitting India, and you can now find out it within seconds. So just talk to us a little, just to go. Share your feelings on that, Dr. Lopez.
Well, I mean, to Twitter, I mean, and the social media revolution has really kind of transformed our lives, although many of us say maybe not in a positive way, but I would argue in a positive way. For example, in our area here in the Northeast, when Sandy hit, as is happening in India, a similar version of a tropical storm is hitting them there. There's this instant messaging possibility now that you can do through mobile devices like your cell phone immediately. And Twitter really was, in 2006 when it was developed, really was the thing that started that revolution.
And we're going to talk about going in public in just one moment, but that cyclone that is supposed to hit India, that's just, they said it's got more energy than any storm in the last something like 25 years.
Yeah.
So certainly hope that, I covered the tsunami out there and was stationed in Kanyakumari in the south of India during the tsunami, and certainly hope that they fare very well and there's very few deaths over there. And let's talk about Twitter also. We're talking about it going public. Dee Dee?
I think it's great. I love Twitter. I think it's changed everyone's life, definitely for the better. And I think it's a safety thing too. I mean, whenever the hurricane hit, I was underneath the crane. It hit, and I started tweeting, taking pictures, and everybody started picking up internationally. It's just that the news is that fast.
Yes.
And actually, I mean, if there's a disaster, people can tweet out, "Hey, I'm here. What's going on?" It's really amazing what Twitter can do.
Actually, the police say that it's been in terms of any kind of lockdowns, in terms of any types of disasters like natural disasters, it can save lives. So there is certainly something wonderful about that. But it's going public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for them.
All right, so we've got a lot of congratulations to go on out there. We're going to be sending congratulations to Ford. We'll also congratulate all the Nobel Peace Prize winners and to Malala for being such an incredible role model, and of course to Twitter.